What is meant by acquisition of business? First, I'll break down the difference between an asset sale and a stock sale and why it could save you a significant amount of taxes choosing one or the other. Then, I'll explain why businesses actually get acquired and what motivates the buyers to pay a premium. Finally, I'll walk you through the most common deal structures so you know what to expect when offers start coming through. By the end of this video, you'll understand the different types of acquisitions and which one will put the most money in your pocket. Acquisition of a business. Let's keep it simple. It's when one person or one company buys another, either all of their stock or all of their assets. The key is transfer of ownership and control of one business to another. If you buy a restaurant and you take over operations, that's an acquisition. In an asset sale, a buyer will pick and choose which assets and which liabilities to acquire. Buyers prefer this method because it has better tax benefits for them, such as step up in basis and certain liability protections. In a stock sale, a buyer acquires literally everything of the business, all of the assets, all of the employment agreements, even all the liabilities and potential liabilities. As a seller, they typically prefer a stock sale for capital gains purposes. It helps reduce taxes in the long run for them. This tends to be one of the biggest negotiation points in almost all deals. Now, we do need to talk about full acquisitions, partial acquisitions, or majority stake purchases. A full acquisition is just as it sounds, 100% purchased. A partial acquisition or majority stake purchase is just as it sounds. The buyer will typically purchase 51% or more of the business, but less than 100%. And the seller will typically retain a portion of the business. Private equity firms typically do majority stake purchases. The seller, as you would say, takes chips off the table to get a payout as they continue to run the business. This will often give original owners and founders of a business or seller of a business a second bite of the apple. They take a portion of the money now, the increased valuation of the business, and then later, as they continue to grow the business, they can take a second bite of the apple as they sell again. It's important to understand why businesses get acquired in the first place. Buyers will often buy for strategic purposes, enter new markets, removal of competition, buying a new technology, even acquiring a new customer base. Understanding a buyer motivations can help you in the deal process. It can also help you demand a premium value if you know the purposes and the reasons why the buyer wants to acquire your business. If your business has something that a buyer can't easily build or replicate, that's leverage and can demand a higher multiple for your business. You will often see some really large acquisitions that go through, and you can be surprised with how much buyers are willing to pay a premium if it's the right business. If it can benefit their business and their operations substantially, they're willing to go as high as they need to. The acquisition process from offer to close is a long and hard one. The different steps of this process usually has an indication of interest from the buyer to the seller. A letter of intent typically is signed between the buyer and seller with high-level deal options. Then there's a due diligence process, both financial and operational due diligence amongst other things. After that, a purchase agreement typically gets put together by both parties' attorneys, and then the deal is closed. Sounds simple, but that can take anywhere from 3 months to 9 or 12 months. Seller financing, that's probably a term you've heard quite a bit before. That literally is just what it means. As part of the purchase price and the amount of money that's exchanged from the buyer to the seller is willing to finance a portion of it. Now, it's not a formal financing like a bank will do. A lot of times these financing options will be a certain amount every month over a number of years, or certain payouts over 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. I've seen everything in these purchase agreements. I've seen them every single month for a year. Very quick payout from a buyer to a seller. I've seen them quarterly payments over 5 years. I've actually seen lump payments at 10 years. I don't advise that from a seller's perspective, but just about anything can be done. You've probably heard of earnouts as part of these types of acquisitions. Earnouts are just tied to future performance. I have my own feelings about earnouts, as if you're not continually in the operations of the business, you don't have any control how the business operates or how it performs. so an earnout can be dangerous. However, seller financing and earnouts are both very common in mid-market or lower market acquisitions. I have made several other videos around due diligence, and please review those. The most common deal structures for mid-market deals: cash at close, earnouts, seller financing. We've already talked about seller financing and earnouts. Cash at close is the simplest and easiest one. It is literally just as it sounds. On day of closing, purchase agreement is signed by both parties, money is exchanged, shake hands and move on. Seller financing and earnouts requires that the seller sticks around. Maybe not in the operations, but they will somewhat be involved in the business as it goes forward. Even if it's just waiting for that check to come every month or every quarter or every year. It still ties the seller to the business that they have sold at this point. Each has its pros and cons. It is important to get a competent attorney involved early in putting the purchase agreement together. You don't want to get stuck in a deal 3, 4, 5 years later that you're regretting. Your optimal deal structure depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for cash today and no future involvement? Are you looking on potential upside in the future from the business you're selling? Are you looking for a more tax savings purchase plan? It's important to get people in your corner, qualified CPA, a mergers and acquisition advisor, a acquisition attorney, that can help guide you throughout this process. You need to know your priorities before anyone puts a term sheet in front of you. Understanding how this process works is only half the battle. The other half is architecting your business to retain deal value and to get the most out of your business when it's time to sell. I made another video that breaks down how to find and fix hidden constraints within your business that can really hurt your valuations as you go forward. The reason I want you to watch it is it can help you protect your valuation and protect your business as buyers start digging into your financials and other documents of your company. Go watch it next. We've linked it right here.